And that's what's so amazing about this. If you teach students to be the kind of people you want them to be in the community, you teach them to find a voice, you teach them to work slowly and in increments, you teach them to make mistakes and to learn from them, you teach them to be in a position to not plagiarize because you're seeing what they're doing as they're going along. You're a benevolent panopticonist. Remember Jeremy Bentham's, he was, at the turn of the century in the industrial age, two great things happened. Taylorism, where Frederick Taylor went in and studied how things were working. And whether it's great or not, we can talk about, but it was a great innovation in that he learned how to break complex things down into simple steps. Sort of what you do with a research paper, right? It's a very complex and intimidating thing, but if you tell students, let's just start with brainstorming. First step, brainstorm. Second step, draft something, see what you think. Yeah, that's it, relax. Don't worry about here, you'll get there. Before they know it, it's a month later and the paper is done. But you're breaking it down into simple, achievable, successful steps. So Taylor did that, but Bentham had this option of the Panopticon, where it was the classic model was the prism with the tower in the center, and the cells were pitched down so that you could see into each cell, and he would be able to look in because there was no covering, and the prisoners never knew when they might be watched so that they would always behave. In a model where you're working with a portfolio, in a writing class, students know you're looking because that's what you're teaching, but in a non-writing class, if you randomly sample student work and you bring it into class and you use it on occasion to guide what you're teaching them or to remind them to use the writing center or to tell them that you're all on the right track or you need to adjust, it is similar to what Bentham did, except you're not treating them as prisoners. You're using that to see that they're all getting along. So you're taking that view and that skimming of their work, not to deny them, but to welcome them. So you have this golden opportunity when you do writing assignments to bring students into the discipline and thinking of your field. And if you're doing it this way, one, you remove some of the fear and anxiety. Two, because you're welcoming them, you reduce the chances of loathing you and not liking the course because you're helping them to understand what's important about the discipline and the ways of thinking. But three, you're making it possible for you to see when they make learning mistakes. And when you can see when students make a learning mistake, you see the moment of making a learning opportunity. It's in correcting the mistakes or helping the student change or revise that you have these glorious moments of discovery where the student realizes that they can do things. And then it gets exciting again. So the mistakes aren't drudgery and boring. They're these wonderful little epiphanies, like the Raymond Carver moment where the student discovered in that beautiful passage what Raymond Carver is really doing and was able to express it in a fairly poetic line that used classic repetition and rhythm. I mean, those parallel sequences that just came out of the student. You create those in whatever you're teaching and wherever you are, and then you have fun, and the student realizes this, and you tell them what's happening, and you point out how they're learning and where they're growing and where they're going from here to here, and they can start measuring that for themselves, and then they find traction. And it makes a lot of difference in everything, and everything's better and happy. At the end of the course, the students thank you. Some of them will stay on and get degrees and win Carnegie Mellon grants. Then, 30 years from now, you'll get a phone call and they're winning the Academy Award and you're being thanked on the speech. Or they won a Genius Grant and they're going to endow a chair here in your name because of what you did. And it's all because you just took the time to sort of slight shift in tone, letting students find their voice, spacing things out, changing your assignments, and making life easier.